Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is T-9, Applying Transformations Using Lines and Angles. We'll start with question number 5. Perform each transformation. Compare slopes for corresponding sections. So the first thing we need to do is recognize that we're being asked to reflect over the y-axis. So we're going to be moving over this axis right here. And I've noted a couple of points on each of these lines. We'll start with the inside line. And what we need to do is determine how far away from the y-axis this point is and this point, and then move in an opposite but equal amount of space to do the reflection. So with this one, we're one move to the left of the 3 on the y-axis. So we're going to take one move to the right of the 3 on the y-axis, which puts us right there, and it's actually right on top of the other line, but that's okay. For the next point on this line, we are 1, 2.5 to the right on the -4 part of the y-axis. So we're going to go 1, 2.5 to the left of -4 on the y-axis. And as long as we have 2 points, we can plot a line. So this line should run through both of those. And now we're going to take a look at this outer line. If I go from 1 on the y-axis and I move twice to get to that. So moving twice to the right, so I'm going to move twice to the left. 1, 2. And this line, this dot, lines up with -3, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to the right. So I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to the left. And once I have both of those points, I can plot my lines. Okay, now that I've got those drawn, I need to think about what is the slope for these lines. And if I find it for this one, seeing as how these appear to be parallel, it should be correct for both. So starting at this point, I have to move down 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1, 2 to the right. So I'm at -4 over 2, which of course can be reduced to -2 over 1 or simply -2. Now we'll take a look at the slope for these lines, the new lines we just made. And we are moving up 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1, 2. So that means that we have a slope of 4 over 2, which reduces to 2 over 1, which reduces to 2. So we have a slope of 2 on this side and a slope of -2 on this side. And how do they compare? They're opposites. Now we'll take a look at question number 7. For number 7, we should start by figuring out 3 points, the vertex being one of the points that we have to use, on the shape that we're given here, this angle, and determine what the actual points are. And so the vertex is -2, 1. The point on this ray is -5, 2, and as we move to the other side, the end of that ray, it's 0, 3. And we're going to be taking this angle and rotating it 270 degrees clockwise, which is the same as 90 degrees counterclockwise. And so if we look at it as a 90-degree counterclockwise move, one of the quick ways of doing this is to realize that when you're moving 90 degrees, you're taking y and moving it to the front and x and moving it to the back. So you're switching the order of the coordinates. You're also taking a negative version of y when you move counterclockwise. So, which we're moving counterclockwise in place of this 270 degrees clockwise. So what that's going to look like is we start off with a -5, 2. The 2 is going to jump to the front. The -5 goes to the back. And the 2 becomes negative yx. And I've plotted that point. Right here we have -2, -5. So that's this point right here. And then we started off with -2, 1. The y becomes the x becomes the y, and the y is a negative form. So now we have -1, -2. So starting at 0, we move to -1 and then down to -2, and that point is right here. We started out with 0, 3 for this piece here, and we are now going to go to -3, 0. So we are at -3, 0, puts us right here. And then we can go ahead and put our rays in place for that. And then we can take a look at what the slopes were for the original, and I have those listed here. So to go from here, we go up 1 and to the left 3, or we could go down 1 and to the right 3. And here we're simply moving 1 over 1. How that affects the slope on this new shape, we have going up 1 over 1 to the left, or down 1 over 1 to the right. So we have a -1 over 1. And here we're going up 3 and over 1. Which means when we compare the slopes, we have negative reciprocal slopes. For question number 8, you're asked to rotate 180 degrees counterclockwise. And you can see the way that we want to do that is by determining how far over we are based on 2 points that we choose on the original shape. So we are 1, 2, 3 over from +3, and since we're rotating 180 degrees, remember the quick way of doing the 180 degree rotation is x and y stay the same, but they both become the opposite of what they were. So if they were positives before, we could think of them as negatives now. So we're 3 away from +3 to the right, so we want to do the exact opposite of that. We want to go to -3 and move 3 to the left, which I have a point right here for. Then from 0, I am 5 to the right, so from 0 I want to be 5 to the left. And once I have those 2 points, I can put a line through them. If I look at my slope for this original shape, I move up 3 over 2, or down 3 to the right 2, which gives me the -3 over 2. And here I'm going to move up 3 and to the left 2. So you can see the slopes are the same, and so if I compare the slopes, we're going to see that they have the same slope. Please use the problems that were done for you tonight to help you to solve the additional problems that are on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.